The way that I was going to get noticed and the way that I made teams was I went after guys. Being a champion is the greatest thing that you'll ever experience as an athlete.
Yeah.
Getting to experience that in Boston, I think that trumps it over doing it anywhere else.
So we're back. Another episode of the Dan and Ninko Show, episode 106. And this is a very special episode because we have the man, the myth, the legend, legendary Milan Lucic. Here we go, baby. This is one of the guys that if I saw him in an alley, I would not want to mess with this dude. I swear to you, I wouldn't fuck with Luch because I know for a fact, number one, he's Serbian, so he's got a hard head, and his fist is like he's got sharp knuckles. So the second he hits you, it slices you open. Luch, what's up, baby? How we doing?
We're doing good, good to be here. You know what? This is my first podcast that I've done in studio.
Okay,
so
usually
it's kind of nice to do it with looking at you guys and not looking
like
at
a Zoom,
like a Zoom screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to do. It was pretty cool too. I just had my first game back as a Bruin in the Garden.
That's awesome.
Which I know it was only a preseason game, but it got a lot of anxiety and butterflies out to do that. Before the first actual regular season game. So yeah, doing good.
Dude, really appreciate you taking the time out on a day off especially. And I know with the scheduling.
My kids are in school right now, so I got time. I got time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Usually we do this. Well, my kids are in school as well, and Dan's is also. Yeah. So taking it way back, because we met years ago, and you were you're still young, but I was kind of at the end of my career, older, and now it's come full circle for you, being in Boston, and you started out in Boston. What does it feel like just to come back? Like, how has the fan base been? Have they been, I know every time I've been to a Bruins game, the people around the seats that I'm at, they're all asking me about how's Luch? I'm like, he's great. So coming back, how's it feel?
Yeah. You know what? It feels great. And it's funny. It's been a lot longer than it feels. Yeah. I mean, 8 years is a long time. It's been 8 years since I've been a Bruin, and for myself, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. And even for people, that I've talked to so far, it feels like it's only been like a year or two that I haven't been a Bruin. It just feels right. For me being back, and when you come to a place and you come to a city when you're 19 years old and you spend most of your early adult life and kind of grow up into an adult, it just feels like you're just going back to your hometown and going back to where you feel like you kind of grew up. Even though I'm a Vancouver kid, that place is always a special place for me, but this place, like I said, I came as a kid and I grew up here and all that type of stuff. And a lot of life altering big moments have happened for me here in Boston, as far as, winning a championship, making the NHL, having to grow up, from a whatever you want to call it, kid, teenager into an adult, getting married, having my first two kids, that all happened here, in Boston. So to be back here, it does feel like I'm going back home. And it's funny, Nick, you know this. Every time you do go to a Bruins game, you end up FaceTiming me. You end up FaceTiming me. Yeah. And you're right by the bench by those the two girls there that are always there. Yes. And they were there last night, so it was great to see them. I gave them a fist.
I try to get free stuff from the bench.
Ninko doesn't watch the games.
I go to I FaceTime Luch, and then I'll show the equipment manager. I'll be like, hey,
He'll throw me a hat. It's Matty Keto.
He throws me a hat and a t-shirt. I'm like, yes. Worked.
That's the reason why you go to the game.
I go to a Patriots game. I'm not really watching the game. I'm there.
You're there. It's fun. It's the environment.
It's something different.
I brought Everett on the ice. We're right on the boards there on the glass. So it was fun. It's fun. Just like when you go to a Patriot game, you bring your kids, and it's just the experience. Because honestly, as an athlete, you're not really like. I know it's weird to say. You're not like a fan.
We're not fanboyish, right?
Yeah, like I go to the game, I watch I have a good time. I have a couple beers. Like that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, you get.
I'm not going to cry about it.
You cried
like Dan when the Patriot when they lose, Dan's crying over here.
You cried when Kenny Chesney rang the bell.
Just let's forget about Kenny Chesney. So, Luch, take me back. You talk about hometown. You started playing hockey at what?
Yeah, like I think I was like 3.5, 4 years old. Yeah.
How does that happen? You just learn how to walk and then they throw you on the ice?
Well, my uncle, my mom's brother, he was playing hockey. So, he was playing in the WHL, which is a junior hockey league out in Western Canada. And he was playing in that. And he actually was drafted by the Vancouver Canucks and made the NHL. I believe he played 138 games. So, I had someone in the family that, was playing hockey. So, from my mom's side and my dad's side, we were from both sides were athletic.
Yeah.
And, me and my brothers, we enjoyed playing any sport, that we could play. We played everything that we could growing up. And my dad was a soccer player, so he was a big time soccer.
So did you play soccer too?
You know what? That's funny. That's the only organized sport that I never played was soccer, because for whatever reason in Vancouver, soccer season was in the fall, and and that's when hockey season started. And then there was 3 boys. And my dad was like, "Fuck, I can't make it to 2 different sports and with 3 different kids and get us all these places as you're finding out, and I'm finding out." Having 3 kids, getting them everywhere is a job in itself. So, with having someone to look up to with my uncle, we wanted to play hockey because we wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
And my dad noticed that hockey was the biggest sport in Canada, and the quality of soccer back then was very low in Canada. So, for us, he got into hockey even though he didn't know anything about hockey, and he got us there with the help of obviously my mom and my grandparents, taking us to all the rinks and all that type of stuff. So that's why we loved hockey and we wanted to play hockey and whatnot. So that's how we got into it.
At what point in hockey are you different than the rest of the kids? Like, at what point or what age were you at and you just were better than everybody?
3.5.
Yeah.
4?
It's actually funny. It was right off the get go. Me and my older brother, we were a lot better than everyone else right off the hop. So yeah, we were just naturally good at it. I think I remember being told the first time I was put on skates, it was like I was skating for a year or 2. It was just something I was naturally good at. And the very first hockey game that I played in as a 3.5, 4-year-old, I scored a goal right away, in the first game. Yeah, which is insane.
Crazy.
It's insane to think about it because, having my son in hockey right now, and he's a year into it, and he's a little bit of a slower learner. I think the first 2-3 sessions, he just laid on the ice.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't going to be the guy to, I just left him on the ice until he figured it out, because that's kind of what you have to do when it comes to hockey. They got to figure it out.
So if I put the skates on, will you check me against the board, try to destroy me?
Just because I know you'd want me to.
Yeah.
So I'd come.
Well, I can't really. I mean, I could probably. I can rollerblade. That's similar?
It's
right?
similar.
It's
yeah.
similar.
It's similar.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to hockey skate than ice skate than it is rollerblade.
Yeah, because
there's more edges.
Yeah.
It's easier to turn and control yourself out there. So. I think you'd figure it out. After 10, 15 minutes.
In Canada, when you are going and you're climbing the ranks, you start out at 3.5.
Who are you playing against at 3.5? Were you playing against other 3.5-year-olds, or are you playing against
6-year-olds?
No, it was mostly like 5 or 6-year-olds. Because my brother was a year older than me, but we looked like twins.
Yeah.
So me and him were bigger and stronger than most of the kids. And
then at what point, when you're in youth hockey, does it become physical? Is it because times are different, now? Yeah, but so back it was Canada when you were playing as a youth player. Yeah. Was that not a point of emphasis, or was that
checking? So when you got to kind of check and hit, I think that's came about when you were, I would say about 12, 13 years 13. Old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's when it came in. And I still remember we used to have to run gauntlets, for fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I want to do that.
Yeah, so like the whole team would line up.
Yeah.
And you would have to go through it as the guy was checking you.
Yeah.
But
that's amazing.
I know that kind of sounds barbaric.
No, it's sweet.
There's people out there
it's
that
like
are
man
be
in the man in the ring. You do the bull in the ring. You do
exactly.
It's bull in the ring. It's Oklahoma. It's half. They don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
So dude, we used to do boiler drill. So what it was 3 offensive linemen, 3 defensive linemen, linebacker, running back, and it would just be 3 guys on 3 guys coming into each other, and then the safety filling on the running back. And I'm talking like full speed running into each other. Yeah, like big hits. And I used to get in there and talk shit and say, I'm going to fuck you up. And the dude, get the offensive lineman all pissed off, have him come in me low, just quick swim him and get the back. Dude, I miss that. They need to, because that stuff when you're a kid, especially, it's like confidence building.
Well, that's what I think it is, and I think there's a lot of people that'll go against what like me and you are trying to say here. Like, who are these people? These people, like it's barbaric. That's not whatever sports are all about. But what I found, what it did was it actually helped with safety because it wasn't just hitting a guy hard. You were learning how to take a hit, how to protect yourself and put yourself in a good position to take a hit so you wouldn't get hurt. You're bracing yourself for a hit. You know how to use the boards and you can bounce off the boards, some of the worst guys to hit were the guys that knew how to take a hit that could reverse you on a hit.
Get you
probably the same thing as when you're trying to tackle a guy.
Yep.
Same with us when we're trying to tackle, like Patrice Bergeron. We called it the reverse shoulder. Bergie was one of the best guys when you were going at him full speed and he acted like he didn't know you were coming and he would just fucking reverse hit you. Those were the worst hits to take, I know. And those are the ones that I remember as a hitter trying to go hit a guy and they fucking reverse
they surprise you.
And you're just like, they'd hit you in that solar plex or whatever. And you're just like, fuck, all that type of stuff. So to me, we learned how to do that at like 12, 13 years old, kind of what we're talking about. So what it actually did in my mind, it made the game safer because you knew how to put yourself in a good position to take a hit and you weren't so vulnerable to getting injured.
So at that point, when you're hitting and you're doing all the checking, you're known for beating people's asses, right? And that nowadays, I'm sure you have kids that are afraid of you. I'm sure there's guys that you're on the ice.
It goes both ways, though, right? Because there's some that are afraid, but there's some that want to go after you.
No, I don't. Well, no, I'm saying now.
Yeah, I'm saying
versus
now.
When you're a kid. So when you started, you were that kid. You were 19 years old, and you're fighting adults. Like you're fighting 30-something-year-old grown-ass men who have played a long time. How do you put yourself in that state of mind? And because when you're a young kid, you're just trying to hang on and just make a name for yourself, make a statement. Going back to your rookie year, what was that like?
Well, I was always trying to do something to try to make the team, and everyone, especially in hockey, there's different skill sets and, there's guys that are fast. There's guys that are skilled. There's guys that, like me, play physical and guys who can fight and, enforce and all that type of stuff. And for me, the way that I was going to get noticed and the way that I made teams was I went after guys. I went after guys physically with big hits, getting in guys' faces and fighting. And those 3 things were the 3 things what made me notice. It's what got me on to the junior B team that I made at 16. That got me on to the junior A team that I made a month later. That got me on to the WHL team that I made the next year. That got me drafted and then eventually got me to be on the Boston Bruins. It was because I could hit, and it was because I was physical, and because I wasn't as scared of the opponent, and because I could fight. Those were the things that made me make these teams and made me the player that I was. And I wasn't scared to go at it head first.
Yeah.
You know, I had a fuck you attitude.
Yeah.
I had a joyful aggression.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared of the opponent. I would never back down. I wasn't a bully, and I'm still not a bully, but if a guy was trying to bully me, I was,
You're ready to go.
I was going right at him. And yeah, so you know, that was my, mentality was, you might be better than me with skill wise, but my will break down your will.
Yeah.
So my will beat your skill at the end of the day. And that was always, my mentality, and that's how I always made a team. And as a 19-year-old, playing against, like you said, grown-ass men, established NHL veterans and hockey players and superstars. So I had to do something to give the Boston Bruins a reason, to keep me around. And how I always did it was by those three things that I just talked about. So, I mean, I fought 3 times in preseason and 4 times in the first 10 games of the regular season. So I fought, no, it's funny. It is funny looking back. I fought 7 times in the first 15 games of that season just to show that I can hold my own and stay on the team. And it's funny. I was told one time by them, if I didn't show that I could hold my own, they probably wouldn't have kept me around that year as a 19-year-old, but I did. So that's what kept me around. And even going back, just to my junior days, in 3 years of junior, I fought 58 times in 3 years.
58 times?
58 times in 3 years.
Damn.
Wow.
So, and if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have got drafted. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had a chance of making the NHL. But because after all the fighting, that moved me up the lineup, that gave me a chance to make the team. But I always had a skill set. I was always able to make plays. I was always able to score. I was always able to, work with my line mates and kind of play with everyone who I was playing with. So, but that was always overlooked. That was always overlooked when I was a kid. That was always overlooked when I was a teenager. So I had to do something to give them a reason to keep me around. And then once I established myself in the lineup, everyone started saying, "Oh fuck, he can play too." Then I started moving up the lineup, and then the points started coming and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of how it all went.
Dude, you were a teenager beating up dads.
I wish there was a 19
beating up dads.
Honestly, I wish there was a 19-year-old coming at me like I used to go at them. So
that's Is that part of the game still there though?
I don't think
it's not. It really isn't, and it's funny.
So if you had a moment where somebody's messing with you and you're like, all right, motherfucker, like I'm going to beat your ass. And they just say, no, I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry. Like did I offend you? I don't really
they're
want
like,
that.
Hey, just calm down, Luch, calm down. I'm like, don't fucking tell me to calm down.
Just calm down. Please stop. No.
We use our words here.
Can we de-escalate the situation, please? I do not want to fight you.
Yeah, that's been the scouting report on me for, I'd say, probably the last 15 years is don't poke the bear. Don't wake the bake up. Don't piss him off. Let him sleep, buddy him. And that pisses me off when guys buddy me. Hey, Luch, how you doing, man? How's it going? I'm like, fuck off. Don't ask me how I'm doing. I'm trying to.
Dude, I think the worst part in hockey is when they freaking glove up your face. Yeah. And those gloves smell terribly. Have you ever been in a hockey locker room? It is one of the
but we change.
You guys are it's different it's different at the pro level. I'm thinking for me I would get a new pair of gloves every day. Not probably the same with hockey. You got to break them in. But me in high school though, when you're a kid, you would wear the same stuff. I'm saying as far as cleanliness, I'm kind of a clean guy.
No, but you would tape and glue your socks to your feet.
Yeah, I would. I didn't want any slippage.
You didn't want any water getting in there.
I didn't like when my foot would slide in my cleat, so I would.
Yeah.
You know that white can that you guys have? It's like glue. I would spray it on my feet.
Tough skin.
tough skin. It's
Yeah.
like the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
I'd spray it and then throw my foot in there. It's probably why I blew my knee out so bad.
You'd put towels over your feet.
Yeah, I didn't like my feet wet
I
either.
put that on my knuckles one time, and then I fought with it. Man, it ripped my hands apart so bad. I never did it again. It's all cut up.
How is so your knuckles in your hands? Like, have you broken your hand or anything?
Yeah, so I got a boxer's fracture. This was back in 2006. So I still
on the
got
pinky knuckle.
Yeah, I still got it. It looks like in my knuckles down here, and then I've broken this index finger twice. But the second time it was over here. Yeah, so Dr. Lehman put a nice
metal plate in there.
A plate in there with 6 screws. So
now it's
that
an
actually
iron
makes
fist.
it's like an iron fist.
Gives a little extra oomph.
And I've had some little cracks and stuff that just happen. But nowadays with the mandatory visors, when you get in a fight and you hit the visor, your hands are way more cut up than what they used to be. Because
so you don't have you don't wear a visor?
I don't wear a visor. I'm one of like the 6 guys I think that are left that don't wear a visor.
So there's 6 guys because it's grandfathered in, right?
Yeah. So you had to have played, I think, 25 games before the 2013 season to have that option. But now there's no option for the guys.
You have to have the visor. You come in, you gotta have a visor.
Yeah.
I would hate that. I tried a visor one time and it got wet on the inside and I just freaked out.
And not only that, like taking hits and stuff, like a lot of times, so the visor will come back. There's so many guys that get cuts on their nose like this, especially for me with my big nose. If I had a visor, my nose would be all cut up. So it saves you from that as well.
My helmet would come down and break, cut this open. So I just hated the visor. So I would hate to have to be mandated to wear the visor. I get it. It's for your eyes. I mean, protect your eyes. You've seen guys take pucks, in this area and it's not good, but that aspect of the game, I get it, but you've definitely seen a shift. And I think it's the NFL too. You see like it's a shift in not as aggressive, not as, attack oriented, more space, speed. Linebackers now are 230 pounds, and it's probably the same in hockey. Guys are smaller, faster, and less physical, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think especially the defense, the defensemen are a lot faster and mobile and smaller compared to when I first came in the league. When I first came in the league, there was a ton of 6'5", 6'6" D-men, 230, 40 pounds. They couldn't turn well. Yeah. All that type of stuff. And now every D-man can move and every D-man can skate just because of what, the game is turned into.
Who's somebody that you played against that you're like, fuck, that dude just tough? Like one of the guys that just you stuck in your head. Tough. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one because you're kind of putting me on the spot. I have to
or just how about teammate? Like if you're in an alley and you got somebody that you want to have on your side, who's like a guy that you'd roll with?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be like obviously Sean Thornton or
that dude's nuts.
Yeah.
He made me put on a Panther shirt. He made me do it.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
He did because I was in his. They were playing obviously last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they won the series.
He didn't make you do anything.
Yes, he did.
Did he make you put a Broncos jersey on too?
No, he said put the shirt on. he said you're in my box. He's like you got to put the T-shirt on if we win. I said fine, I'll put it on. Yeah. So, but he's an intense guy. I always enjoy being around Thordy.
He's great. He's nuts. So it's.
Did you guys? Okay, so when you won and you had the trophy, didn't it fall off the bus? Did you guys drop the trophy?
No,
that was somebody else.
That was somebody else. Yeah, we took really good care of it.
But you drink out of it, right?
Yeah, we drink out of it. You drink like crazy out of it. It was like a mixture of champagne and beer.
Yeah,
and
so I think it's
everything.
Yeah,
whatever he's pouring in.
Yeah.
So I remember when you guys won, and I know that there was.
Well, I met you a week after.
Yes,
because we met at Wahlberg's event.
Yep.
So that's when
that was like they take it on a tour and it goes everywhere and everyone is just getting hammered out of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And the duck boats and the parades here are amazing and everyone's throwing you shots. And
actually, you know what? They weren't doing that back then. So our parade, they weren't tossing us beers and all that type of stuff. Which
they were throwing us.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Fireball, McGillicuddy's, root beers,
especially Gronk. Right? He was like, I didn't want to party, but the fans wanted me to party, so I had to. Party.
No, this is Gronk. I didn't even think I was gonna drink, but they were just making me. And I had to take my shirt off. You know, he's just.
And it was cold for you guys. It was
freezing.
For us, I think it was like 85, 88 degrees that day. So it was hot as balls. And it was, being hungover, we were hungover as shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice having a couple beers because it takes the anxiety away. It kind of even levels you out. And we were just like,
I think we had a snowstorm. So the day that we had it, there were like piles of snow everywhere. So in Boston, they were telling everybody, don't go up on the mountains of the snow. Dude, there was people everywhere chucking stuff at us. It was pretty epic.
Yeah,
Boston knows how to throw a parade. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, and the Boston faithful's been spoiled with.
Dude, there is
a couple parades.
So beyond spoiled. Yeah, we're not talking about the Patriots just yet, but we don't have to go. We don't even want to go over.
It's not just the Patriots; it's everything. I mean, that's got to be the one difference that you probably saw leaving Boston, going elsewhere, is how the media portrays their teams and everything.
Well, yeah, definitely, because like you go to like getting traded from here to LA. Obviously, LA, when I got there wasn't the Chargers or the Rams, so it was just the two basketball teams and the hockey team and the Dodgers, and other than the Kings, they hadn't really won recently. I guess
we can't not have a beer. Yeah. Gotta have a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but.
Well, I can't not.
You can't. We'll do the shit Pats fans drink.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
limited edition.
This is a limited edition. Very nice. Very smooth. You'll enjoy it. And,
all right.
So me and Luch, over the years, as we became friends and there was any event or anything special, we would send videos back and forth of moments where you would just pour a beer in a glass. Could be midnight, could be 1 in the morning, 2, 3, time change, and you just got to down it. And there's maybe glasses of wine. I've seen those.
Yes.
But anyway, I was doing this Ninko
Cheers.
Pong. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Luch, thanks for coming to the show, man. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy and you got a schedule with a family, so appreciate it. But we did this event at Fenway. It was a ping pong event. What do you think?
I'm not is this an IPA?
No, it's not.
It's a lager.
It's a lager.
Yeah.
Hold on. Maybe we got a potato chip one. Let me see.
No, this is good.
This one, hold on. I saw the face, dude. You'll like this one.
No, I ain't changing. I'm going to drink it. Don't worry.
Hold on. This one is something. This is special. You'll like this one. I promise you'll like this one.
It's made with Cape Cod potato chips.
It is. Taste that one.
Is this like a potato vodka?
No, it's not. It's, what is that? Chopin? What do you think of that one?
For my liking, this is a little bit better.
That's a little bit better. Yeah. I was going to do some light. I know he likes the light stuff, but
You were supposed to pick up some
I know. I didn't stop. We didn't have time. So I did this event, and it was a ping pong event, and we had a couple of Bruins players. Luch was there, and Gostkowski was there. So this is insane. Julian was my partner. So this dude was spitting his lip, his chew into Fiji water, right? So I go and I'm like it was hot in there. I take a sip and I go, what the hell? It tastes like Copenhagen. And I look up at it and it's got like a string in it. And I just wanted to throw up so bad, but I didn't. I sucked. I just said, I sucked it up, did it. But at the end of the night, so we all had a great time. We were having a few cocktails, and there was a batting cage there. And Gostkowski actually was a pitcher at Memphis, so he could throw like 85. Like he could throw some gas. So this guy goes in the cage and he's in the batter's box, right? And he had a few cocktails. Dude, Gostkowski threw some chin music and it was like right around this area. And Luch literally didn't even see the ball. He didn't even see the ball. He was just like, he like looked and then like it went past him. Everyone was like, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no." And thank God we didn't have any contact because that would have been a bad one.
So my favorite part about that story of your ping pong event was my wife decided to go into labor that night. Yeah, so
I forgot about that. It was a late night too.
So it was like a late night. It was like a 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah.
And I would get a tap on the shoulder like literally 20 minutes after I get home.
Oh no.
And and then 6:30 a.m.
Oh,
and I'm there just like this, beside her as they're getting her ready. And the first one took like 18 hours. Yeah. And they're like, no, it's the second one, so it's coming. 6:30, second kid comes.
That's a great. You know what?
I'm just like, oh man, I'm way too messed up for this. But
it was that's a very interesting that story in particular, which was a great event. I did it 2 years in a row. Didn't do it after, but that's a great one because this guy in just saying, oh, I can hit I can hit this thing. Yeah. And I think you struck out.
I like liquid courage big time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So now, okay, so you go to LA and then you go way north? Like what is this?
Yeah. So like going back, just talking about like Boston and all the teams winning. And obviously the Lakers won in 09 and 10. The Kings won in 12 and 14. The Dodgers obviously are really, really good. So going to LA was pretty cool. It was cool. You're playing out of the Staples Center.
I know you had a sick pad.
Yeah, it was, living in Manhattan Beach. Yeah. It was in the South Bay there. It was awesome. Great team, great guys, great organization. So that was a lot of fun. After being here for 8 years in the lovely winters of New England, getting to spend a winter in LA, the family really, really enjoyed that. Living by the beach and whatnot. And then, just getting 1 year of that. And then, I signed a deal, 7-year deal with Edmonton, which I'm sure a lot of
Game
people.
Of Thrones? Is that the North?
Yeah.
That's
so basically,
that's the wall.
That's the wall of the North.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's pretty chilly, right?
That's the best.
What was like a winter? What was the temp in the winter?
So we're talking. So now I'm going back to the metric system. So we're getting into Celsius. So -20, -30.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So. Like I remember when you asked me when I signed, so I was like, yeah, Edmonton's kind of like the Green Bay Packers. It's like the Packers of the NHL. That's probably the best example to have it. But anyways, you're way up north. You're kind of like you said, you're moving to the wall.
The Night's Watch.
Yeah. So
that's like the.
So get this. So like 8 years you're in Boston. There's other stuff going on. The Celtics are doing their thing. You're used to the Red Sox, the Patriots, and obviously us, the Bruins. And then you go to LA with all the madness that goes on there. And then you go to Edmonton in Canada. So after 9 years of experience, all that, you get into Edmonton and it's you and that's it.
That's it.
And that's
the main focus.
That's it. There's no Patriots parades. There's no Red Sox parades. There's no, Celtics parade. There's none of it. It's just you, the Oilers, and that's it. And so, that was a change. It really was a big change. And there's a lot more travel. When you're living up there. Plane rides are a lot longer. You talked about the winters. The winters are a lot colder. There's a lot less going on and all that type of stuff. So for me, it was a big time adjustment. And you're going to a team that was, that was in a rebuild for so long. They had like four first overall draft picks going in there, and now they got one of the best players of all time with Connor McDavid. So that was the biggest reason why I signed with that team. But it was an adjustment for me as far as lifestyle and all that type of stuff going on. So it was
the family.
Yeah, and the family. And so yeah, it was a big adjustment. I had a really hard time with the adjustment. Things didn't really go well for me individually. And it just seemed like the harder I tried, the worse and worse it got. And then after 3 years, I got traded down the road, which was a 3-hour drive to Calgary. Which I was there for the last 4 years, and same thing. You're the only show in town.
Yeah.
Playing for the Flames. But I enjoyed I enjoyed the trade and going from Edmonton to Calgary. It was a good move for me and my family. Great guys on the team. I think I had a little bit more of a role there. Again, it was still an adjustment, all that type of stuff. We had 2 really good years and 2 shitty years, but all in all, the last 7 years were an experience.
Yep.
And it was a learning curve. And, I've learned in life that you don't try to go back and regret decisions that you make. I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot, being in those 2 places, and I'm grateful that I had those 2 experiences. And if anything, it's made me more grateful of what it is to be a Boston Bruin.
Yeah.
It's made me more grateful for what it is to being an athlete in the city of Boston, and it's made me more grateful of what it is to be a champion in Boston, because to experience those things is something that only a few athletes get to experience. And I've said this in other podcasts, and I've said this in other interviews, that it's great being a champion is the greatest thing that you'll ever experience as an athlete.
Yeah.
But for me, I think getting to experience that in Boston, whatever 4 teams that you get to do it as, I think that trumps it over doing it anywhere else, because of what it means. History,
Yeah.
The connection with the fans, because here the fans, that's what they demand. They want winners. They want standards. They want high standards.
Crazy high standards.
High standards.
And we're seeing that right now with the Pats. It's crazy high standards, and the last 20 years they've, it's been championship after championship. So yeah, it's so to be, in that group of champions in the last, during this time is pretty cool to say that you're a part of that. So to me, like I said, it's something that's extra special, and something like going back to what I was talking to you, it's made me more grateful for my first time around in what I accomplished and achieved being an athlete here in Boston.
And last year, how many games total have you played? Total.
I looked it up recently. I've played 1,173 games.
Oh my gosh,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
1,100.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just professionally, or is that?
That's just NHL.
That's insane.
And
So,
there's 136 playoff games on top of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Dude, that's freaking
nuts.
badass, man.
Yeah.
That is badass.
When you decided when you were a free agent to come back, was it just a no-brainer, or was it weighing some options out?
I wouldn't say it was a no-brainer, just because I didn't know if Bergeron or Krejci were going to come back.
Yeah.
I know there was more of a likeliness that they weren't going to come back versus that they were going to come back. But after weighing out all my options and everything, I just thought this was the best fit for me. And not only just for me, for my family. I wanted my family to come back to Boston and, have my kids, see me wearing the Spoke B again. So, that's something that I wanted them to do. You wanted them to experience as well.
No, I think that's the one cool thing too. Your kids are older now, and
Yeah.
with their babies.
They don't remember me as a Bruin.
Yeah. So now
Really, they only remember me as a Calgary Flame.
coming back now
Yeah.
they're older. That experience I think's got to be special. I saw a picture that you posted. Your kids were up on the glass. It was the game. Maybe it was last night.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just like, for them, they're going to remember that. That's going to be like a core memory for them to be in Boston. And then also to talk about the fans. Like the one thing I can say about the Boston fan base, if you're good,
you're immortalized almost.
you're like, they really like you.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
If you suck,
Yeah.
they will not like
they
you
remember
forever.
Yeah.
So for me, when I retired, I was 32 years old, and it was almost like I was better. Like my career almost was better in their eyes because I didn't go out like some of the guys go out, right? Like some of the
Hang
That
on.
99% of the guys
99%
go.
of the guys go out, they hang on too long, then they start to look
It's
slow.
not their choice. It's just they.
So
cut.
for me, like going out after a Super Bowl win and still being like good.
Yeah, like Seinfeld. You went out on a high note.
Go out on a high note. Go out on a high note.
Yeah.
They actually think I was better. It's like, Nick, you're a legend. I'm like, I missed a few tackles in my day, but so we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back to talk about Bruins, and we want to talk about the Patriots because the Patriots suck at this moment right now. So we'll be right back. So we're back, and now we are going to dive into what Dan absolutely loves, and that's the New England Patriots, because he's a big supporter. He provides a car for many of the players, a few, maybe the coach.
None right now.
Not even the coach.
Just one the coach.
Okay, the coach.
Yeah.
All right. What do you give him? You got him the Volvo or something?
He's got a Jeep.
Oh, the Jeep. All right, Grand Cherokee or something.
I think so.
Grand Wagoneer.
I think it's
Stage
a
3.
I don't think he wanted a Wagoneer. I
No,
think
you
he
just wanted a Cherokee.
Cherokee.
So, Luch, what do you think of the Pats right now? You were at the game. You went to what game? The Miami game?
Yeah, I went to the Sunday Nighter. It's funny, just as a critique, and I don't like to critique too much because I understand as
It's
an
hard.
athlete,
It's not easy.
It's hard.
It's very difficult.
I was feeling kind of confident.
I was too.
Just because they were going to be almost the dark horse of the AFC East because obviously Buffalo is Buffalo. They're really good, and then Miami's taken a step and they've added some sexy pieces with big time playmakers, and they trade for Jalen Ramsey and all that type of stuff, and then the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, so there was all that talk, which unfortunately didn't last long because as a Pats fan, obviously you don't like those three teams, but I did want to see how he was gonna do, in the AFC. I was like, okay, it's gonna kind of cool competition and see the Jets relevant again, since Mark Sanchez, they haven't really
Dirty Sanchez.
before the butt fumble, they beat you guys in the playoffs, they were pretty good.
They were a tough football team.
Team with Rex. Yeah. So to me, I thought New England was going to be a bit of a dark horse because they had the defense.
Yeah.
Their defense was going to be really great. Obviously it took a big blow last game. And then, I actually felt like Mac Jones was going to, take a step into what everyone thought he was going to be. And listen, I don't want to talk shit or anything, but it's just whenever I felt anytime it was like 3 and 4 or one of, like a big play needed to be made, it's not being made. And I get it, it's hard because you're used to Brady, you're used to Gronk, you're used to Jules, you're used to even Dola, you're used to Hogan, guys that make big plays at big times. Obviously, when you got TB12 throwing the ball, there's always going to be potential for big plays, but every time there is a chance to make
doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. The play isn't made, which is frustrating. It's frustrating.
That's where I felt like the growth of Mac Jones was going to take a step this season.
Yeah.
Of him, he was going to have this is what, his fourth year? Third year. But yeah, he's had 2 years to figure it out. He's had 2 years to gain some confidence. So I thought his confidence was gonna really be there this year. And I just feel like even just seeing his eyes in the camera, you can just see it's not there.
Yeah, it's not there. Yeah.
It looks like there's self-doubt.
That was so for me when I watched the Cowboys game, number one, the defense, and I said this before the season. I said the defense, if they could be top 5 and they could be a really good defense, which, you take 14 points off the board. The offense gave them 14 points on the interception, pick 6, and then the fumble touchdown. Like, that's really hard to recover from. But on the flip side of it, they lost some really key pieces.
They only lost one key piece, though.
Yeah, I know, but a shutdown corner is so vital to your defense. And he's going to be the next best cornerback in the NFL. So I would shut him down. He's 100% going to be a top. He's going to be a top corner. Like, he's a freak. So you shut him down. You get him right. You have the surgery. You regroup for next year. But now the biggest concern that I have is the offensive line continues to struggle. Awful. It's really bad. The depth. Juju was a terrible signing, dude, his knee looks like it's hurt. So he's not going to give you the production.
Hopefully they shut him down though with Thornton coming back.
So you're not going to get the production. JC, they just trade for JC today, so you got JC Jackson. Maybe he can come in and have a resurgence, but now it's going to turn into the team that we thought could have an offense that was a ball control, time of possession, run the football, be opportunistic. I don't know what that is right now, especially now after this game. But the defense, I think Keon White,
he's better than Judon.
I think Judon going out with an injury sucks, and I never want to see anybody hurt. But I think that they have some young pieces that could step in that would be like, holy shit, like this dude's a pleasant surprise.
Keon White and Uche.
Yeah, it's like those two guys can pick up the slack. Yeah. Defense is going to be okay. Now, the next 2 weeks are vital for their season. Like the Saints and Vegas.
Yeah, you got to win.
They got to beat the Saints. They got to beat the Raiders. Like those 2 games. If they lose, they split that. They're shit. So they got to win these next 2 weeks. It's vital. They got to do it. So that's why I'm picking the Pats, because anytime it's a must win. I have to pick the Pats this week. It's a must win.
We're trying to ring the bell.
No, should I? Luch, what do you think of this thing?
Oh man.
No. I know he's he doesn't like to he doesn't want to.
Well, you know what? I've always been a non-case guy.
This is a radiation.
That's a purse, though.
No, but this is for it's a radiation
credit
protection.
card holders.
So you could put like if you don't want to have a wallet, you could throw your ID, credit card, a couple cash, but then you close it up, and then guess what? You talk on the phone, no radiation in the brain. Anyway, he likes it. I'm going to get him one. I'll send you one on Amazon. I'm going to bring it to Boston.
The problem with the Patriots is here, right?
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson this year has 164 rushing yards. Ezekiel Elliott has 138 rushing yards. Ramondre has carried the ball 60 times for 164 yards. Ezekiel is 34 times for 138 yards.
Yeah, the offensive line's not opening up the gaps. They're not opening up the holes.
And then you look at the weapons, right? Your top receiving threat is Hunter Henry with 17 catches for 176.
Yeah.
You got Bourne with 16 catches for 175.
Mm-hmm.
And Bourne has 7 drops.
That's bad.
Demario Douglas is 9 catches for 119.
Your best player is Hunter Henry. At this point.
But that's terrible.
But I'm saying your best player is a tight end making plays.
He's not even a top 10 tight end.
I know, but
as a viewer and like a non-fully educated football fan, or critique, like you guys are.
Yeah.
Like what I said is what I'm looking at is like, okay, the defense has to hold the other team to 17 points or less in order for them to have a chance to win the football game.
Yeah.
That's basically it. They have to be a top 5 defense, and that's
so to me, all the pressure is on the defense.
I think the pressure. Yes, there's a lot of pressure on the defense. I mean, you can send if they're in that locker room. I guarantee the defense is feeling a little bit. They're probably getting frustrated when it comes to we got to score. Yeah. And I think back to when I would play, and if we had a bad game, which was rare, but there were moments where the offense wasn't doing much, and we were down a bunch of scores.
But that's not every night.
No, I'm saying it was like rare.
Yeah.
But we'd come in and be like, all right, I guess we got to pick up the slack and we got to try and create a fumble or score, give them field position. But it's tough when it's every week. And then it starts to wear on you because every week you have to realize if we're not great and like we're not perfect, basically, we're going to lose. So the offense, number one, they're going to go as far as their offensive line. I don't care who you are. If you had Tom Brady, if you have Tom Brady as a quarterback right now, he's going to struggle with being hit and pressure 50% of the time.
Mac was pressured 70% of the time.
Yeah, it's insane. That's insane. But those guys are. And also too, it's the way the game goes. So it's similar to hockey, I would say, when the game gets out of hand and it turns into one-dimensional, and then you're focused on we just got to do this and we're going to win. That's the same thing with football. The Cowboys got up. The defense pins their ears back. They don't give a shit about, we're just going to get the quarterback. Because then you got to throw every play.
You can let up first downs. You can let up 20,
like who cares? We're just going to go and kill the quarterback. And we're going to make him make bad decisions, throw interceptions.
What's that movie?
And it just piles on top of each other.
What's that college football movie? And it's the
Unnecessary Roughness?
Yeah, no, not Unnecessary Roughness. The Program.
The Program.
What is your...
Seat at the table. First team defense.
No, but it's like, what do you do here? Kill the quarterback.
Kill the quarterback.
This formation, kill the quarterback.
Kill the quarterback.
That's all Micah Parsons was doing. It was just like, I'm just going right up the middle of this and going to kill the quarterback.
So I don't know. I think
it's
right now it's tough sledding, and if you turn on the radio, you listen to any of the sports talk, it's like doom and gloom. It's Bills done, blah 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 blah.
It's been the same thing for 5 years.
It's always like that. So for me, I think the next 2 weeks are going to really paint a picture of what's going to happen, because then you got to find out if Mac Jones, like, can he be the guy? If he's not the guy this year, you got to move on from him.
Yeah, but I think though
you got to go and draft somebody. There's some good quality players in the draft this year.
It's only 2.
Well, I'm saying if they really fall off a cliff, you got to go get a quarterback or try to free agent or do something. Yeah,
it's a free agent. You have to draft one, but you have to get a high enough
something.
Pick. But the thing is with the Patriots right now, I think that the coaching staff and Bill and all that still think they get something here, because why go get J.C. Jackson today?
Because
they think you're out.
No, but they feel like they have to.
Well, they have to, because their top 4 corners.
That's what I'm saying.
Now.
Like, you have to go make a move.
But if you were trying to just give up on the season,
no, you wouldn't do anything.
Go get him, right?
But Bill's not going to do that. He's going to try and make. He's going to do whatever he can to try and make this.
They need to go get La'el Collins.
They need a receiver.
No, they need a they need an
they need a freaking receiver, Luch. They need a receiver. I know he doesn't want to dive into it,
but if you
need to go get freaking Jeffrey. Go get some crazy one. Give up a lot of.
I'm fine with something like that.
Yeah, give up a bunch of future picks. Give up some. Go get a big contract. I don't care. You need somebody that's a game changer. Need something.
They have the most cap space in the NFL next year.
You can't just have a bunch of 2s and 3s. You need a number one. You need a good 2. I mean, I'll bring it back to hockey. You need a guy that's going to be a game changer with the puck. He's got to press the issue. People on like you. If you have somebody like that, the attention has to go there, which frees up other people. So it's it's all sports, right? If you have one guy that creates attention by the other defense to have to make sure they don't let that person hurt you, it frees up other guys.
100%. And like, just comparing to what you just said, you can't just have a bunch of 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Because you look at every team that wins the Stanley Cup, they all have a number 1 D-man.
Just a straight stud.
A straight number 1 D-man.
Yes.
Every single one has had him for the last... we can list them and just keep going and going and going.
It's one guy. It's a guy that is a difference maker.
Yeah.
And I would say that too if you look at every Super Bowl, there's a guy that is a go-to guy that is freaking clutch and that makes plays. Like, go through the Patriots history. We've had a guy like that.
No, it always is. Everybody talks about Brady never had weapons. He always had weapons.
He always had somebody.
And you have the greatest tight end in the history of football that you throw the ball up to. Randy Moss. One of the greatest wide receivers in the history
Wes
of football.
Welker, Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Troy Brown before that.
Deion Branch.
Yep.
He was the MVP. There
was always a
2004.
guy that you knew if it. That's the difference with Mac Jones right now. When it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5,
there's nobody there.
Yeah,
like Brady was going to one guy, right, on 3rd and 5.
That's it.
It was just one guy. You knew he was throwing it up the
But
ground.
also, too, there was guys that were probably underrated. Shane Vereen in the Seattle Super Bowl. If we didn't have Shane in that game, we would have lost. 100%.
Yep.
Out of the backfield, catch and run. James White.
Yep.
Out of the backfield, catch and run.
And you don't have that now.
Blunt. Out of the backfield, catch and run.
Kevin
Falk out of the backfield, catch and run.
And they extended plays. They made plays when they had those opportunities.
And it's an easy throw. So like the thing that you talk about a quarterback, there a lot of times Tom wasn't throwing the ball over all the defense. Like he wasn't going deep, right?
No.
It was intermediate and
stuff.
short. So it was let everyone get back, throw it to the flat. Let that guy beat a linebacker.
You could be 3rd and 8. You can throw a wide receiver screen. They're going to pick it up.
Yeah, because
you
they're all
can't do that now.
they're getting depth, and then you can throw it underneath and go get a first down. Now, number one, the pressure's too much, and the quarterback's just every time Mac can throw the ball and set his feet, he's still fading away. So he's fading away because he's not confident that he's going to have the blocking in front of him.
That you have the blocking in front of you?
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, would you be fading away?
I don't know. First of all, I would hate to be a quarterback because I wouldn't want. I'd love
everybody
hitting
wants
people.
to trash Mac, but if you you switched him and Tua, is it the same production?
I don't think Tua makes it out.
I know, but Mac Jones would have the same exact production that Tua has right now. With
the only thing about Tua and Mac is Tua's probably got a little bit more
versatility to him.
Versatility to get out of trouble, extend a play. Mac is the only thing I see. It's just like the sack fumble for a touchdown. He extends the play, and if you look at a play where Tom would get out of the pocket, you know what he would do the first thing he would go that way. He'd look behind him.
Yeah,
he would make sure that nobody was chasing him. And then if he had time, if there was someone chasing him, he would either throw the ball or slide, but he wouldn't just go and expect nobody to be there and get sacked, fumble the ball, get it picked. Like he would always check behind him. So I mean, and maybe he'll do that now, but last week sucked. It was shitty for everybody on a national stage. And,
but it's not a confidence. I think he's just trying too much. Like those throws, the 2 picks were just they were terrible. But he's trying to make a play because he knows that okay, I didn't get hit here, so I have to make a play. I can get outside the pocket a little bit. Yeah, I got to throw the ball, and I think that's part of it.
So to me, you just brought up national games. I feel like a lot of these national games so far have been done in the fucking first quarter.
They've all been because the Giants have the most.
Even though the Jets made it somewhat of a game,
it was terrible at the end.
But at the start, I'm like, all right, this is fucking
17-0, right?
Yeah, it's just
the national games.
So here's the thing that I've seen this season: the matchups. Number one, the teams that we thought were going to be decent are not good. Yeah. So you think Joe Burrow just is the highest paid quarterback of all time? They suck. Terrible. Like the Cincinnati Bengals do not look good, right? No. Their team does not look good. So there's these teams, the Tennessee Titans don't look good this year. They don't look good. Ryan Tannehill, whatever. So you have
I thought Vegas was going to be a little better and they don't look good.
They don't look good. So it's almost like you have your top tier and then everybody else is just kind of blah.
I don't even know about that because even the top tier isn't even that great because the Eagles haven't played great.
Well, even the Dolphins
got
losing
killed.
to the Buffalo. You would think after all the production and all these high production games, big scoring and 70 points against the Broncos, they lose to Buffalo in Buffalo. So.
What a shit show that is in Denver. My God.
Oh, God. I almost was the coach.
The linebackers coach over there that was helping him out.
Only a couple days. All right, leave me alone.
he coached them into letting up 70 points.
Oh, yeah? That's what it is? All right.
Yeah, but I'm sure you guys will agree with me. I feel like an AFC. We're just waiting for Buffalo KFC. Are we not? Not KFC. Buffalo KC.
Yeah, I want some KFC.
Yeah.
So this
what I'm saying? I feel like it's just Buffalo KC.
Here's the thing,
and then maybe Miami, and then
this is my takeaway.
I'm not sure on Buffalo.
Call me old school.
Call me old.
Problem. It's wide open, I think.
Call me an old man. I don't feel that the competitiveness and I don't feel that the violence and the way that football used to be played 10 years ago, it's not there anymore. All these guys are friends and they all go on each other's Instagram and they're freaking buddies and they hang out.
Afterwards.
Change it. The NBA's soft. The NFL is becoming softer. Like it is 100% becoming softer. The NHL, I think, is becoming softer.
Well, same thing. Guys
it's like they're friends.
Guys are working out together. Guys used to never work out together.
Yeah, you're not going to work.
Like
with
when
Because
you
we didn't
play-
want our opponent to have the same physical or competitive
you want to be better.
So why would I work out with a guy that I'm going to compete against? You know what I'm trying to say?
So what it used to be,
now guys are having hockey camps and
it used to be the team. Your team would work out in the off season with just your team. That's why you had your strength coach and you did all your off season work with the team. Now with the CBA and everything, the NFL players, a lot of guys, unless they have a workout bonus, they don't even go. They only go to mandatory and they go to like the Exos or whatever place in California, and it's all these dudes together, becoming buddy and exchanging their Instagram accounts and selling T-shirts and doing podcasts. And when it comes to the game, there used to be like a clear divide. Like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Jets. I wanted to beat their fucking ass. I wanted to kill the Ravens. I wanted to beat the Steelers. I wanted to kill Buffalo. I didn't like anybody. After the game, once we won, I'd say, hey, great game, but now it just feels different to me. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny though too, because like my approach has always been, there's guys on other teams that are good guys for them.
Yeah, they're good guys.
For the most part. Hockey guys are really good guys. They're really good guys. They're easy guys to get along with. We all have a lot in common. So you end up liking guys when you get to meet them. Yeah. And it's kind of like what Brady said in that. What did he do?
Yeah, he just did a thing.
He said he didn't want to know guys on the other team because he wanted to hate the guy that he was playing against. And that's something that I always kind of did is I didn't want to know guys. And even if I did skate with guys and work out with guys in the off season, it just, I would go. I didn't want to be too much buddy
go out
with
of your
them
way to be friends,
because if I had them lined up,
and you gotta get them,
I gotta go through them.
You gotta go get through them.
I don't want to in the back of my mind a voice going, "Oh, he's actually a good guy. I should let up on him."
Like, hey, we had
that.
But
like,
you get hurt though when you let up. Though,
yeah.
too.
So, and that's there's a definitely a difference when and I go back to college and you would know people or you would do something and then you go to the league and then those people. Like Zach Streif was a guy that we were drafted together, and then I went to another team and I would play against him and we're friends, but I still wanted to kick his ass. Like I wanted to win
the bragging rights.
Yeah, like I wanted to say like I got him, like I got you. Yeah. And when I was with the Dolphins and then I came here, everybody that I played with, I wanted to make them look bad. Like I wanted to, and it made me feel good.
Well,
so
yeah, same thing. Like, I played on 4 teams now. Anytime I played a team that I used to play for, I wanted to beat them.
I want to beat them.
Yeah, and I want not just and I wanted to beat them bad.
Sean Payton, when he was with the Saints and we're playing here, the first time I was able to play against Sean as a starter, I've said this before, first play of the game, they try to crack me. I beat the crack. I make the play. Sean is right in front of me on the sideline. I get up and I look him right in the face and I scream, "Fuck you," right to his face. And he looked and he said, "All right." That's what he said. All right. And the next play, they cut the shit out of me. But it was still like, I wanted him to know that I was fired up to make a play and make him look bad.
Yeah.
Like, and I could be wrong. Maybe there is some guys that have some, and I know there are guys that have that edge and they're out there and they're playing at a high level and they want to win and they want to beat somebody's ass. I know there is, but it just feels like back a few years ago, there was just a much bigger like rivalry between teams that didn't like each other. They didn't want to associate with each other. They weren't, trading jerseys. Like that's the thing. The Jets, Kansas City, right after they lose, they're all taking their jerseys off and exchanging jerseys and taking pictures and hugs. Fuck that. Like Bill, what do you say?
I don't even want to go to the family room to see my family after a loss.
So Bill would say, I mean, you assholes want to have a powwow out there after a game and exchange your fucking jersey. Well,
we used to fine you, right?
No, it was $1,000 a jersey.
Yeah.
So well, it was the same thing like Daryl Sutter, who I just had in Calgary, and he's kind of like the Bill version of hockey.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing as be like, oh, you guys want to go out there and cut fucking deals? You want to be fucking friends with the guys on the other team? And we're, yeah, let's go. And he'd be like, oh, you want a stick from that other guy on the other team? I'll go get you a stick. Just tell me. I'll go get it for you. Like a signed stick.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of
Same
shit.
thing.
But it's true though when you look at it from a competitive standpoint. It's great. I collect sports
Stuff.
memorabilia.
Yeah.
I like having
I
it's
wish
cool.
I had some other guys' jerseys, but after a game, so
It took me until last year, and I've played against them for 15, 16 years. I finally asked Sidney Crosby, hey, can I get a signed stick from you? We've battled each other for a really long time. It'd be kind of cool to have a stick from a guy who was the best player of
Hall of Fame,
his generation.
Yeah.
He's a generational player. It's cool. And I never asked him before. I never would talk to him before. Nothing like that. But Sid is like Tom that way. Sid doesn't want to be friends with nobody.
Yeah, he just wants to do his job.
Yeah, he wants to beat your ass every time he plays you.
He wants to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the NFL is
It's
hard that way. Look at the preseason game for the Patriots that they cut short because Speed got knocked out, and then they just ended the game with 8 minutes left. I mean, it's just part of the game. I get that a player gets hurt, you don't want him to get hurt, but that is part of the game. But Bill's getting soft. Look at Judon holding out. And
I know.
Brett Brown holding out.
Shit's changed.
Yeah,
am I up or am I down on picks?
I think you're up by one.
I'm up,
two.
huh? I'm up, TJ. Let's go, baby. Come on.
Got lucky.
So we're gonna wrap this show up because Luch has got a lot of shit to do, and I don't want to hold him too long. So we're gonna do our picks right now, and we're gonna wrap the show. It was a great show. I'm up by 2, huh? Holy shit. You gonna put some more money on that? Or you? You want to talk about Zappy? We didn't even talk about Zappy throwing a pass.
Bullshit. He's fucking terrible.
Now you owe me a G.
Yeah.
And we'll take it off the TRX.
He's fucking
looking at
terrible
a TRX.
too.
Well, he threw a pass, so I know you didn't think that was going to happen.
You didn't think it was going to happen either.
Yeah, I did. That's why I made $1,000 bet with you.
You said to me right when he came in, you're like, why the hell is Bill taking Mac out?
Oh, hey, I'm $1,000 richer. All right, let's go through this. Let's rip through
Bears, Commanders.
Commanders.
You won't take your hometown Bears?
No, they suck.
Jaguars, Bills.
Bills
In London.
Yeah.
Titans, Colts.
Colts.
I'll go Titans.
You want Titans?
Ravens, Steelers.
Ravens. Steelers blow. They do.
Ravens.
They're bad.
Yeah. Little
Bad.
hand picket.
Bad picket. Little hands.
Texans, Falcons.
Texans.
I'll go Falcons.
All right.
Panthers, Lions.
Lions. I like Dan Campbell.
Yeah, Lions.
Hey, man. That's a hell of a win, boys.
That's a team that
that dude's like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Crack it.
Hey, man.
I cheer for that team.
I do.
Want them
you want them to win.
I want the Lions
want them to
do
win.
It's been
Yes.
so bad for so long.
I know.
Giants, Dolphins.
Dolphins. Giants blow.
Bengals, Cardinals.
Oh, my God. I'm going to go Bengals because I feel like they got to win that one.
Yeah, I got to go Bengals too. Rams, Eagles. Or Eagles, Rams.
I'm going to go Rams.
Eagles.
All right. Is it at the Eagles or at
No, that
Rams?
game's in
Rams.
LA.
It's in LA. I'm going Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, that's a tough one cross country.
This is going to be a tough one for you. Jets, who you hate, versus the Broncos that you love.
I'm going Jets.
I'll go Jets too.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Vikings.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Cowboys, 49ers.
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 That'll be it. Hopefully
That's
that's
gonna be a good one.
hopefully
that's a
finally
good one.
we got a
I know.
game.
Sunday night game.
Hopefully
Sunday
it's a
night.
game.
The Monday night game is Packers, Raiders.
Packers.
I'll take the Packers too. And then you're going to have Sunday at 1 o'clock at home, Saints versus the Patriots.
Patriots got to win. This is a must win.
Patriots have to win.
Must win.
The Saints aren't very good. You see to get Mac to get that monkey off his back and score 25, 26 points. It just has to happen.
God,
just get it off.
Smack him.
Go. And then,
It's like, wake up, kid. Throw the ball deep.
but throw the ball deep. How
Yeah,
many passes you seen on money?
We're sending positive vibes, Mac.
Yes,
we're sending
come
you
on.
positive
Mac,
vibes.
I'm
We're
gonna go-
lifting you.
No, not from him. Mac hates him.
I don't give a fuck. No, because I'm critical of the kid. He's got to play better. He can't be doing this shit. And then you see Billy O. Did you see Billy O look at him when he was talking to Zappy? Like, hey, best of
You don't
luck
know
out
what
there,
the
kid.
angle's at or whatever.
Yeah, Billy O's probably like, this
We're
motherfucker.
throwing you positive vibes, man.
He's going to be the head coach in Michigan State.
If Mac's watching, though,
Billy O's going to be $50 million, and I guarantee he's going to go to Michigan State. Mark my words.
I think he's going to Michigan State. But if Mac Jones is watching, I will donate $20,000 to a charity of his choice if he sack taps you.
If he sack taps me, I'm going to drop him on his head. I swear to God. Max, if you sack tap me, you'll probably sue me because he's the younger generation does that shit. But anyway.
Then I had to help you out playing poker at the charity event.
No, I won. I beat you.
I gave you money to rebuy
ran out of
in
but
multiple times.
Once.
Oh yeah,
it was your lovely wife's money.
I had to give you the thing.
Yeah, and then I won back, and then I beat you,
third hand.
and then I took all your money.
As I just went all in
just
the last
like
hand of a charity
rounders.
thing.
I'm all in.
I knocked everybody out of the table 3 times.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it. You're a pretty smart guy. All right, I played football too long.
Yeah,
your brain is
still
perfect.
In there.
It's in there. Mine's in there too. I just don't know what it's like. All right. Well, hey, Luch.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thanks for having me. It was
great. I know it was your day off. I know you got the family. So super pumped that you're able to make it. And we got to get you some Dan and Ninko swag.
Perfect.
We got a hat here.
Oh, yeah. Give him the Luch.
All right.
Actually, and then we're going to have Luch sign it. And we'll do another random fan. We'll get a Luch hat signed for you. Huh?
We'll end up in France again.
Yeah, France.
All right. Thank you, fellas.
All right. Thanks. See you, Luch. Thanks, man.
Right. Check us out on danandninko.com, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then subscribe on YouTube. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.